Welcome to How's Your E-Presence. This is Mark Galvin, and you have joined us on How's Your E-Presence. How's Your E-Presence is a show dedicated to business and social media. So what do we do here? We like to talk about ways that you, a business person, can leverage your social media a little better. You may be an independent business person. Maybe you're out looking for a job because of COVID-19. You've lost a position, or maybe you're furloughed. This is a good place for you because we're going to talk about ways that you can use social media to either get a job, get a promotion, or find new clients. If you're a business owner and you're trying to figure out social media, well, this is also a good place for you because we're going to talk about business social media. How can you, as a business person, check the box, whichever one makes the most sense for you? And we're going to try to answer those questions here today. So first and foremost, we always love to ask people to subscribe to our show. And the reason is the more people we have subscribed, you get to find out more about what is going on. And when we go live, you get a notification. So there it is down there. Hit that button and hit subscribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, please follow our page so you get those notifications. We're dropping these shows about once a week. And when we do these live shows, that'll give you the opportunity to get a notification. So we've been doing a few things lately. And one of the things that you know is we've been doing a webinar. And the webinar helps people get on LinkedIn and get a better page, have a better profile on LinkedIn. Yes, I know we've been talking about this a while, but this is so important because there were only 35 million people on LinkedIn in 2008, which was the last financial crisis. Today, it's over 700 million people on LinkedIn. You got to have a great LinkedIn profile. So this coming Friday, we're offering a show. There's only 4 spots left on this show, or on this webinar, I should say. Here, you're going to get a better presence on LinkedIn. You're going to improve your chances of getting a new job, or you're going to get a chance to get a better get a promotion or secure that next sale. So I'm conducting this 1 hour per webinar for 10 people maximum. And the reason 10 is the max is everybody gets individual attention. In fact, the guest on our show today came to us from one of the participants that joined me on that webinar. So the class is normally $75. We've cut it in half. It's $37.50. When you get a consulting session with me, I charge $350 an hour. So this is a greatly discounted price so that you can get one-on-one direct feedback on your LinkedIn profile. If you are someone who needs an improved profile for a next job, you just need to sign up for this class. If you want tips on how to be relevant and master LinkedIn's whole web presence, you should join this class. If you're looking for a way to build sales or revenues from your profile, you need to join this class. So the cost, again, $37.50. It's half price from the current crisis. If you would like to join this valuable training, go to epresence.me/webinar. So epresence.me/webinar. That'll get you there. Actually, you know what, Eric? I think it's webinar.podcast. I think we're offering the special at webinar.podcast. So go to epresence.me/webinar.podcast because that's where you get the discounted spot. Eric, check that for me, and we'll double check this at the end of the show. Eric's our producer. I do need to recognize him. Eric is our director of social media. He is the most impressive producer in all of producery. So we love that he's here. Eric, thanks for all the work you do. So today we have a great show. We are going to tell you about what's going on in that LinkedIn open to work thing. Should you tell LinkedIn that you are open for work? Should you put that little hashtag on your profile to let people know that you're open for work? We'll get into that and answer all the questions on whether you should or not. Also, there are new graphics for posting content on LinkedIn. We'll talk about that too. But before we get into all that, I want to introduce today's guest. Please welcome Aubrey Hord with Aubrey Hord Photography, LLC. Aubrey, welcome.
Good morning. Aloha.
Aloha. You know what? And that is a subtle hint. Where are you?
I'm on Maui.
Maui. Yeah. So is that the biggest island on Hawaii?
Nope. Actually, the big island of Hawaii, which is the southernmost island, is the largest.
Is the largest. So what is, if someone doesn't know Hawaii well, when people think of Hawaii, they think of what island? mostly?
Probably Oahu. They probably think of Oahu, and that's where Honolulu is. That's where Waikiki is.
And Pearl Harbor, right?
Pearl Harbor. And it also is the largest population. So it's known as the gathering place. Yeah.
Good. So as you look at the islands, so as I come due southwest, I run into Maui.
So you're going to start with Kauai on the top.
Yep. Good.
Then you're going to go to Oahu.
Okay.
Then you're going to go to Molokai.
Oh, I forgot about Molokai.
Yeah. And then Maui. And then jetting a little bit over is going to be Lanai or Lanai. And then the big island of Hawaii is the southernmost.
Perfect. So you're on Maui, which is an absolutely beautiful island. And what do you do?
I'm actually a professional photographer. So I'm commercial and portrait photography.
And how long have you been doing this?
I started the business in 2008. So this is my 12th year. It's like the dozen years in business.
What is that when you do something for a dozen years? The 12th anniversary is which? All right, we're going to make it the most important, right? This is the diamond or something. I don't keep that straight. I have my kids do this to me. Yeah, Dad, this is your golden anniversary. I'm not sure what that means. Well, anyway, 12 years is very notable. And you and I ran across each other because your husband joined me for a webinar, and he said that my wife does photography. I said, I'd love to talk to her because I always love to talk to photographers. And you and I really found some interesting similar lanes, and it was not long. And especially because you are so animated, you're a very good communicator. I immediately said, oh my gosh, you got to join me on the show. So we're going to get into all the great things you do because you're posting awesome blogs on your website, letting people know how to get a better LinkedIn. You just call them headshots and I call them LinkedIn profiles, but this is very good for people to hear. So we're going to get into all that great stuff. Before we do you mind if we talk about a little news?
Sure. I'm ready.
Rock on. So here's the gig. There are some interesting things that came up recently. And one of those things that came up, and it was actually in one of my webinars, is that there was a participant who said that she should not share that she's looking for a job on LinkedIn. And the reason is she was told by recruiters that she wouldn't be contacted by a recruiter if she said. So I thought, oh, I can't believe this. So I did this poll, and so I've shared my screen. So you're looking right at my LinkedIn profile, which is always dangerous to look at live internet on a live show. So if anything pops up, I apologize for that. But that said, here's the question. I posted this. I said, recruiters only. So I only wanted recruiters to respond. Would you recommend that LinkedIn users list that they are open for work? And this is a new thing, hashtag open for work. That is job hunting, and target recruiters. Notice what happened here. So we got 64 people who voted. 69% of those people said that you should. Now, what's interesting were some of the comments, and I want to pop down to these and just highlight. One of the things that this gentleman, Michael Talarico, commented on is that if you're going to say that you're looking for a job, be looking for a job. So if you're not really open, don't say that you're open because you could burn a bridge with a recruiter and you don't want to do that. So be active. If you're actively looking for a position, then you should say this. Now, are there some recruiters that would say, and there's 16% of them that say, don't say you're looking for a job? Great. But let's be honest. I'd rather sit in the 69% range. So 70% of folks out there said that you should. There are 13% that said yes, but see comments. So I guess you can add those together. And what is that? 72%. So 72% of folks, 82% of folks, I can add 82% of folks said that you should. So I think that the odds are there. Take that as a good tip. Now, how do you say you're open for work? Let's get into that. So this is what happens. And I don't know Erica. She's a third-tier connection. But what I did is I went in and searched hashtag open to work. And she came up. So if I'm looking for someone that has her talent set, and I would change her headline for the record, but that's another story. If I was looking for her set of talent, I would know that she's probably somebody I'd want to call because she's ready for a job right now. How do you find those folks? Go to search, type in the hashtag open to work, and they'll come up now. I'm waiting. Here we go. So now there's more people that are coming up. You see they've got that little green circle around their profile.
Yeah.
How do you do that? It's easy as this. Go to your profile, and you need to go to the settings of your profile and tell the settings that you're looking for work. And then this appears at the bottom of the screen, the open to job opportunities. And notice it says only recruiters. So all I do now is I click the little pencil button, and then I can come here and I can select that I want to have the open to work circle around. So I do that at the very bottom. And I can also, and I'm going to go back because I'm really not open to work. Don't tell Eric, don't let anybody Eric know that I'm looking for a job. No, just kidding. But you can plug in titles, and I do recommend that. So I could say Chief Executive Officer, if that's the job I was looking for. So add your titles. You can add up to 5. And where do you want to look for a job? I want a job on Maui. All right. So here we go. Maui County. Is that what it's called out there? Is that right, Aubrey? Okay. I want anywhere on the island. So I would say Maui County, right?
It's going to include Molokai and Lanai if you say Maui County. So you'd probably just want to say Maui. Okay.
So then I want to go Maui. So there we go. And I can say immediate or flexible, right? I'm actually, I would rather say immediate, and I want to do full time. And I click save. Now I'm going to let recruiters know that I'm actually looking for a CEO job in either Atlanta or on Maui. And then I did not do the little circle, but I could have had that circle there. So do that if you're looking for a position. Very important. Aubrey, what do you think? Would you want to talk to someone who said that they were looking for a job?
Absolutely. I think that's also nice because right now, a lot of people are really unsure whether their jobs are going to come back or not.
That's a great point.
So
very good point.
We're in a pretty high unemployment area because we're so visitor based. So before the industry really changes over, I think as we're starting to see the jobs change and the job needs change, people are open to whatever they can do at this point.
That's right. That's right. Now, you're here today because you can help people appear a little better with their headshot. And I'd like to jump into that and talk a little bit about that. Are you good with that?
Sure. Ready.
This is your sweet spot. So that's right. Does the color of what someone wears in a headshot have any impact on them?
I think so. I think one of the things that we can look at, you want me to share my screen?
Yeah. Well, Eric, pop that on there. Let's take a look.
So a couple of cool things. If you look at what people wear, it will determine a few things. It's going to either attract your eye, or it's going to create an overall emotion. Some of the things you want to look at are tonality overall. If you want to have your photograph come forward in a group, you can look at warmer tones. The reds, the oranges, the yellows, the pinks. That will pop off the page along with any light colors like white. So if you looked at this initially, I don't know what most people saw first, but most likely
I saw the pink. The woman in pink jumped out at me as soon as it popped up.
And actually, it's a lot of pink,
Yeah, I would say that the girl that has the yellow top on probably would have caught my attention first if I could have seen more of that yellow. But that pink just is vibrant. It really grabbed my attention.
Yeah, so those are going to come forward. So if, overall, the warm colors, the reds, the pinks, the yellows, and the oranges, those are going to pop in photographs. So you're going to stand out from a crowd if you want to show that. Then the cooler colors, so the blues, the greens, the purples, black, darker browns, things like that, those are going to recede. So that's kind of cool. As you start to look at what color you're wearing for your headshots, you might want to consider those things. Last thing.
Aubrey, I got a question.
Yeah.
So let's say I am a server at a restaurant. Yep. And as we all know, the restaurant industry is having some struggles. And so for all of you out there, go eat at a restaurant, go get a to-go order, please help the restaurants. Yeah. But you've got servers that are looking for positions, and I think it's wise to get on LinkedIn and show that you are, because the folks that are going to hire you are probably going to pop on the LinkedIn to see, or they will look on LinkedIn to see more about you.
Yeah.
What color should I wear if I'm a server from a restaurant? What do you recommend?
So the last thing I was going to say is white. a white color will actually pop even more. So your eye is going to be drawn to the lightest part of an image. So if you're looking to draw attention, we're going to kind of put this so that it's there.
That's good.
I mean, rotate it a little bit
Yep.
more.
So folks that are listening on the podcast, here's what we're looking at. You got to go look at the YouTube video. Aubrey is showing, I'm going to call this a color chart. It's actually a color plate. It's a big circle.
Color wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. Color wheel. Oh, that it is circle, Mark. I mean, I should have thought of that.
So
but
it's
good.
a color wheel, and the color wheel is going to show you just different ways that colors work together, different contrasts, things like that. We use it all the time in the design world, photography, art. So a couple different things to think about. If you want to have, let's see, if you want to stand out in the crowd, red, right? Red represents strength and power. It's also going to represent, you know, a fire and things that are really powerful. So sometimes it can be a little bit too much for shots, depending on what you do. Blue is a really good color to wear. Black is a really good color to wear. And I'm saying those quickly because those are the ones that are kind of your go-to. Blue represents honesty, loyalty, truth. What are you wearing today, Mark?
I wear blue a lot. As a matter of fact, this is really interesting. Our color, our logo for our company is blue on blue.
Yep.
And I've always thought of it as being very conservative. We are not a social media company that is loud, right? We don't have bright reds and oranges, even though that sometimes is equated with social media. I want folks to see our brand and think, okay, this is a steady, very calculating company that's going to work very hard to succeed on social media, not just be loud.
Yep. So blue is really, really good for calming effects. If you think about the sky and the ocean are blue, they're very grounding and very calming. So a lot of times blue is really good to wear for headshots. Black is also really nice. That's elegance. It's classic. You know, it's one of those things that is just solid. You're going to absolutely, also it's a solid color, duh.
And I notice you're in black. So you're in black for a reason today, because you want to convey something. What are you interested in conveying wearing black?
I like to be simple, and I'm always in backstage black. You see a lot of artists, especially a lot of photographers, videographers, we wear black because we want to be really understated, at least for me. And it's simple, and it's also slimming. So,
I'll be right back. I get some black on.
Right? So black is good. Purple is really good too. Purple is royalty. You know, purple is really nice for that.
I like this picture here of the gentleman in purple with the blue highlights, and it's an Aloha shirt. So, of course, from Hawaii. That looks really good. I think that's a sharp. I think that presents him well.
Well, and it complements his hair too. There's a few ways you can think about it. Black is basic. Black you could just wear for any of your headshots pretty much. If you want to bring out other elements like the color of your eyes, wear something that matches the color of your eyes. And remember, headshots are pretty much head and shoulders only. So you really want to worry about what's visible from your sternum up. That's right. So the next thing to think about is necklines. With that, I'm sort of transitioning a little bit into the outfit, but you notice all these people pretty much have conservative necklines.
Yes.
You don't want to have anything that's too low because obviously the shot's head and shoulders. The other thing would be have something that you would want to, you feel like a rock star in. When I want to photograph you, or when you come into my studio and I photograph you, I want you to feel like a rock star. I want you to feel as confident as you can be. You know, I want you to have that feeling of walking into the most important presentation you've ever done and feeling really good. I don't want you fussing with your outfit. I want to make sure it fits well. I want to make sure it doesn't have any stains or rips or missing buttons or wrinkles. You need to look.
That doesn't happen, does it? People walk in with, oh, come on. They have stains on their shirts. They show up for a photo. Sorry.
Yep.
That's cray.
Yeah,
but still think about it, right? You know, you're walking in, if you got a stain on your shirt, you may want to get somebody to bring you a new shirt, right? Yeah. It is that important.
Yeah.
So did you go over to that website? I talk a lot about this in my webinars, Photo Feeler.
Yes, I did.
What did you think about that? Were there any key learnings you came out of that with?
Yeah, you know, it was really interesting. I honestly felt about 90% of the people needed a new headshot because it looked like they just had a coworker take them out into the back hallway of their office or the back stairwell and take a picture. And
Right.
so, you know, this is one thing. Do you notice how I've got catch lights in my eyes? You can actually see there's a light.
I can. Yeah.
So what's really important is if your coworker does that, just make sure that there's somehow or another there's light coming into your eyes, because with no light at all coming into your eyes, we call those dead eyes in the industry. It just, there's no connection with the person. So you kind of want to have that catch light in your eyes. You want to make sure that as that person is photographing you, they either have another phone that they're using. Not that I recommend taking photos with the iPhone, but if that's the only way you can do it, make sure there's lights in your eyes. You look into a window. That's another thing. If you've got windows.
So you're saying catch lights, and I'm going to put this in a layman's term. It's almost like sparkle. You got some sort of sparkle in your eye from the reflection of the light on you.
Exactly.
Really interesting.
Yep.
Huh.
So
that's awesome. And I'm looking at this young lady here in the yellow. Her eyes are there's twinkling, right? It looks like a twinkle in her eyes. That's really interesting. I talk a lot about eyes in my LinkedIn webinars, because when I meet you, I walk up, I shake your hand. At least I used to shake hands. I'm assuming we'll still do that, right? I shake someone's hand and I look them in the eye. And I build a relationship with them by looking them in the eye. And so we do the same thing on LinkedIn profiles. So having bright eyes does convey, it's going to help people connect to you better. Your profile is going to connect with people in different ways. If you have a bright smile, we're going to take you as someone who is really outgoing. If you are somebody who smiles and you don't show any teeth, that's who you are. That's fine. Doesn't mean we don't like you. It just means I'm probably going to assume that you are probably not the one that's going to jump up on stage and want to dance in front of everybody, which is fine. You are conveying some of those relationships, those personality traits in your profile picture, and having bright eyes is so important. I love that.
Absolutely.
So I want to shift gears because of time. We could talk about this forever. I think this is absolutely fascinating. I'd like to ask you another question, if I may. You talked a little bit about necklines. What about clothing? Is this something that someone should really consider when it comes to a profile? And I'm going to ask an awkward question that I shouldn't ask. I land on profiles with women who have very low cut blouses on, and I worry, and you tell me if this is something that they should be worried about also, that could hurt their prospects of getting a job, depending on their job. Now, listen, I always say this: if you're in politics, if you work in politics, sex, or religion, then you can talk about politics, sex, or religion on your LinkedIn profile. But if you're not, you shouldn't. And I do worry that women that are in professional careers should not have a low cut something on. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the biggest thing overall is we want to be able to connect with your face and your eyes. So the more you can wear something that
focuses that way, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you notice how my neckline is to here. You see my face, right? So I think in general, you want to just kind of watch for necklines that are too low. Or too revealing, or even shirts that are too revealing.
And this is true for men too, right? You know, you don't want a guy that's there with with his shirt all the way buttoned down to his navel. That doesn't make. I will tell you, I have a great example of this. I'm a big fan of America's Got Talent, and every time Simon Cowell shows up with his shirt unbuttoned to his navel, I don't get it. Yeah, I do. You gotta fix it. Makes no sense to me, right? He is old for the record, but anyway.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, button it up. You know, keep your necklines conservative. Watch for the shirts we used to have as women that we call them window sleeves. You know, they had these the sleeves with the holes in them, and that's just. Is
that what that's called? I never knew that.
One of my clients' children called it that, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. Mom, are you wearing the shirt with the window sleeves? So anyway, you want to keep the necklines conservative, wear sleeves. I always encourage people to wear sleeves. However, everything taken into account, I want people to also, if you've got a signature thing that you wear, whether it's the fedora, like we mentioned, or you always wear scarves, if you always are all about hot pink, or your branding is all about red, something like that,
Yeah.
you wear that. You know, that's what you want to do. So you can match your brand color. You can, if I'm always about pearls, so you'll notice I've got pearls in. Pearls are on my sweater here. So that's part of who I am, as I was raised in a Southern environment. And so pearls represent my mother, and, you know,
that's great.
Kind of kept them on. Yeah.
That's good. So, Eric, do we have another slide, or should we ask Aubrey to share a part of her screen?
I can share my screen here.
All right, so we're going to shift gears, and what we're going to do, folks, and you can see on the screen, we are sharing Aubrey's links to her blog page, her blogs. So the color conversation, she has a blog on that. So you could go to e-pr.me/Aubrey Hord _color, and it will take you to see that. Or all of these are showing up on the screen. The next one are outfits. So we're going to shift gears here and show outfits in a moment here. And you can get a sense of those. So probably you got to hit, you're sharing your screen. So stop sharing that screen, and then you'll have to reshare.
Okay.
There you go.
Perfect. All right.
So while we're talking about outfits, we're going to multitask here. So the outfit, which is really interesting, is you've got to be purposeful in the way that you think about what you're wearing. And if your personality lends itself to sharing, like you mentioned, pearls, you should be your personality. And here we go. On the screen, we've got some examples. So I'll let you go through that.
So what's really interesting about this is when you look at all these different people, and on the screen, for those of you that are just listening and you're not watching, we've got different examples of men with ties on and different colored suits and shirts. Women with, for the most part, conservative necklines. I've got one in there that's a little bit of a scoop neck. But these were all for different reasons. And I really liked it when people kind of brought out their own personality. One of these in the middle is a woman that is just gorgeous, Talia Tanau. And Talia owns a destination management company, and it's all about Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian programs. So when she came, she definitely brought her A game. So a lot of these people I put up on the screen for this, for those that are watching, are people that really brought their A game. She's got flowers in her hair. It totally matches who she is. On the far right, we've got a real estate agent in a black suit with a blue shirt underneath, which brings out the color of her eyes. She's wearing pearls. Her hair is spot on, and she is a commercial real estate agent. So
I really like that. And she's not square to the camera. She is, she's got, you know, she's turned, and this came up as a question. Somebody asked me this: should you be square to the camera or not? Why do you pivot someone to from the side like that?
It just gives you a little bit. It's a couple different things. If you're straight onto the camera, it's going to make you look your widest. So if you turn either to 11 or 1, or even to the 45-degree angle, which is going to be a little bit further, and you tip a little bit down towards the camera, it's going to create a little bit more of a slimming effect. It also makes you look a little bit more approachable. If you're straight onto the camera, you could actually look like, you know, you're too aggressive or intense.
Wow,
so
I love that.
A little tiny turn. I'll ask people to pretend like they're listening to their clients, or they can't hear someone really well. So they'll kind of lean in just a tad. So there are these things that kind of help people in terms of the professional side when we're working with them in the studio, help them just pose a little bit better. We give them good lighting, you know, really make them look the best version of themselves that they could be.
This is good. So you talked about the one woman here with a scoop neck on her shirt. I like that picture. It is, the way it's cropped is great. It works. It would work perfectly fine. I think that these are great samples, and everybody's face is really well lit. And we talked about sparkling eyes. Their eyes are sparkling.
Yep.
You call it catch lighting. I need to make sure I borrow that. So this is on your website. Also, you have a blog on this, and it is the URL for it is e-pr.me/Aubrey Hord _outfit. So we're going to hit one more topic, and we're technically out of time, but I don't want to stop. This is too good. So what are the things that people should avoid when getting a headshot?
Well, first thing is come prepared. You know, make sure your clothes are steamed and cleaned and they're on hangers. That's a big one. You mean I can't have coffee stains are bad? Yeah.
That still blows me away that someone shows up with cuffs.
Like totally wrinkled up, balled up shirts that you pull out and you go, can I wear this?
But wait a minute. I mean, hold on a second. I mean, honestly, that is a style today. And I see a lot of men just grabbing a shirt. It's not ironed and they throw it on and it's stylish. So you don't think that should be something that someone should do?
If that's their brand and that's their branding, absolutely. If that's who they are and that's what when clients meet them, that's what they're going to see. That's okay with me. You know, if that's who you are, that's fine. In general, I would say bring your A game.
Right. I love it. Okay. That's fantastic. So do you have an image you want to share on what people should avoid when it comes to profile pictures?
Well, I didn't want to put up anything. I was going to do a before and after of someone, but I wanted to make sure that it didn't go up on the public forum. I got to be respectful. I love my clients.
I get that. That's good.
The biggest things are do that turnaround once in the mirror and see if there's something that stands out, whether it's a large logo or for women, if it's a bra strap or a bra that shows underneath your clothing.
Oh, wow.
Any of those things that might be distracting. So if you don't normally wear big jewelry and you throw on this giant necklace and that's the first thing you see, you may want to look at something a little bit less of a statement piece, just to wear something a little bit more classy or less distracting. So
right.
For a distraction and then remove that or just minimize it a little bit. So those are awesome. A lot more on the blog, but there's not time to go through them. So,
and I love this. So this is actually kind of funny. So do you remember earlier today you said, "Hey, Mark, where's the link?" And I said, "I'm thinking I sent it to you." Well, I sent it to a guy named Alon Zabert, and Alon is a friend of mine that I met online, and he's eating lunch, and he's just popped in, and this is totally unexpected.
Afternoon snack.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, Alon,
Mark, you know, I don't believe in coincidences. So,
I do not. Well, when you popped up, I thought, oh, that's how I sent him that link. So now I know where my link went. But this is interesting, Alon. What do you do?
You know how when you, hi Aubrey, by the way.
Hello.
You know how when you meet somebody sometimes and you just feel that there's some connection there. You just feel something. You can't really explain what it is, but you feel it, right? So this is what I do. I actually teach people in business how to not only be aware of that feeling, but how to create that feeling with customers and then trigger it again and again and again based on a whole philosophy around what I call emotional relevance.
And what I think is interesting, Alon, and it is funny when I saw you pop like, oh, he's a guy, you know what, I'm going to bring him in. Here's what's interesting is that we're talking about how you show up.
Yeah.
And Alon, a lot of what you say and things that you share is has a lot to do with how you show up in honesty and engagement, and having a good profile picture speaks to that. In fact, Alon said something to me that I thought was really interesting. You did not say this to me. You were talking about in general that when you have a presentation, the presenter should never say, "Can you see my screen?" You said that. Remember this, Alon? You said this to me over lunch.
Yeah, one of the things, look, first of all, we all know there's no second chance for first impression. And we all, 94% of the information we get is visual, right? And then we judge upon this. That's the DNA. Those are the instincts, etc. Same thing when we are online and we present. What you see is what we process. This is how we respond to it. One of the next level of it is technology, right? When you make technology an issue, it becomes an issue and it takes away from the perception. Same thing when you share something. So you are absolutely right. You don't need to say, "Can you see my screen?" or "Can you hear me?"
It's distracting. So I got to tell you what I did, Alon. I now have an iPad in front of me whenever I do a webinar, and I have it on the screen so I can see what everybody else sees. So I can tell whether they can see my screen.
That's beautiful.
Well, Alon, thank you for popping in, right? And I will tell you, this guy's phenomenal. Real quick,
Mark, when good excuse to see you, man. Big hug.
So you have a show every other week that you do live on you do live, and is it this week or is it next week?
I just had one yesterday.
Okay.
Was the last episode of The Power of Presence Without Being Present. Yesterday was top 5 don'ts in an online session, but I like to call it top 5 things that piss me the hell off the people that do. Yes. I love that. I do. I am the one that says out loud what everybody else thinks. Yes.
I love it. Yes, please.
But yeah. So anyway, Mark, good seeing you. And let me know
to see you, sir.
Another ride on falafel.
You bet, man. Thanks for joining us. So I love this with Alon popping in, and he does talk about how important this digital environment is. And it does, and I like how it complements what we're talking about, because how you show up in a photograph, how you appear online is going to allow people to connect with you and be your genuine self. So dressing, and we talked about the guy who grabs that shirt, who, his shirt's wrinkled every time you see him. Well, he might need to do that, right? That may be his profile picture. It may not be, his audience may like that. And so that's an important thing. If your audience is going to accept you and knows you that way, then that's the right thing to do. So these are guidelines, right? And you can talk to someone like Aubrey, especially if you're in Maui and you need a great photographer. She can give you some great feedback on how you can get a great shot. But there are some things you said today that I don't think anyone should ignore. The lights, right? The catch lights are very important, right? Got to see, the eyes have to sparkle. Light has to be in front of you. So I think that that's really important. And you need to be really happy. And you've said this a bunch to me. You want folks to be excited about the picture. You want them to see it and say, oh, this is fantastic. This is the best I've ever seen. If someone doesn't feel that way about their profile picture, what do you think what should they do?
Ask for help.
Okay. Yeah. Don't do it yourself, right?
Yeah. Hire a professional, and if you don't do your own hair and makeup, consider having hair and makeup done. If you need help with that, there's all sorts of things you can do just to make yourself feel your best. And, there's all sorts of tips and tricks that are out there too. So do your own research. I'm more than happy to help if people need help. But just really bring your A game and get lots of sleep, lots of water, maybe a little workout before, just so your blood is going, and then hop into the studio and if you can, make that investment.
I think that's great tip. Well, all right. So for folks that would like to track you down, where can they find you?
Best way is on my website. So it's aubreyhord.com. And I think we're going to put it. Yep. It's up on the screen.
It's on the screen. Yep.
You're also welcome to call me in the studio. It's 808-264-5226, or you can email me, and it's aubrey@aubreyhord.com. Pretty easy.
So Aubrey Hord is AubreyHord.com. Well, correct. Aubrey, thank you for joining us today. I love I love your professionalism's fantastic. You show up and you present yourself like you want your clients to. I'm so impressed. And I also love that you had so much to share. So thank you for being here. And I look forward to talking to you again. I know that we're going to talk some more because I think we're going to try to collaborate in some other things. So Aubrey, thank you so much for being here.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. So for you guys, thanks for being here today. We always try to come up with very good content that we know you can really put to use. And we want you to be able to find something here that maybe you don't find someplace else. So thanks for being here. We hope that we gave you good feedback. If you'd like to suggest or you want to be on the show, send me a note. You can find me anywhere on the internet at epresence.mg. That's my universal handle everywhere. So epresence.mg is where you can find me. If you're curious about ePresence, well, let me tell you this. We are a full service social media agency. So we do it all from soup to nuts, either company social media, individual social media. If you are a college student, you need help on social media, we do that. And full service consulting, we run advertising, you name it. Anything that has to do with social media, you can come to us and we can help you with that. If you would like to leverage your listening to this show and to get some discounts, we offer everybody that watched this show a 5% discount, and you can grab that discount by going to our website, epresence.me/5% How's Your ePresence, or join us at the podcast that you see on the screen, epresence.me/podcast.webinar. And I mentioned that I had the wrong URL earlier in the show. Eric, thanks for grabbing that. So epresence.me/podcast.webinar for our webinar, or go to epresence.me/how's your ePresence to take advantage of our 5% discount on all of our services. So we are everywhere for this show. You can catch us live here on YouTube or Facebook, or you can also catch us later on all of your podcast app, but we want you to subscribe to the show. So please, if you would, right there, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And that way, whenever we go live, you'll get a notification and you can catch some of our great content, or catch it later on your favorite podcast app, or on Spotify, or on SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your content. You can grab it there. We're always adding new content every week, so we're trying to do our very best to give you something that'll help you do a better job on your social media. Well, folks, that is it. Until next time, for my guest, Aubrey Hord, I am Mark Galvin, and this has been How's Your ePresence?